In the Eastern District of Virginia, a Maryland man was hit with a federal prison sentence for an airport auto theft conspiracy. Given the background and the details, it's a wild ride. Tyrese McKinnon, a 25-year-old serial thief, was convicted on a conspiracy that involves stealing cars from airports, primarily Reagan National, and transporting those vehicles across state lines. According to court documents, McKinnon's criminal background included convictions for failure to obey a lawful order, petty larceny, and credit card fraud. On top of those cases, in early 2023, he had completed a jail sentence for vehicle thefts, yes, plural, and assault. He was on probation when, on January 3rd, 2023, him and a co-conspirator went to Reagan National and stole a 2019 Tahoe. Surveillance footage showed him and the other person pulling on door handles, and cell site location data placed him in the facility around the time. Video footage then showed the SUV leaving the facility. On February 22nd, video footage showed him and a co-conspirator at Reagan again, this time entering the garage before a 2020 Jeep Wrangler went missing. Not only did the cell phone data place him at the scene, but he had multiple photos on his phone, and they were dated February 23rd, the day after the vehicle was stolen. About a month later, McKinnon's back at Reagan, where he made a 2014 Jaguar XF disappear. With the previous two incidents, the thefts weren't reported the same day. But in the case of this Jaguar, the owners were tipped off because they received a fraud alert from a credit card they left in the car, and it indicated that the card was used in Temple Hills, Maryland. Again, captured on video, McKinnon and another person was seen using the card in the store. His cell phone data placed him at Reagan at the time of the incident, and there were dated images of the stolen vehicle on his phone. All three of the vehicles stolen thus far were recovered from DC. For the 2008 Range Rover stolen from Reagan in April 2023, the trail of crumbs McKinnon left include video of him at the airport, a dated photo of the truck on his phone, and a search of the approximate location in Suitland, Maryland, where the vehicle was recovered. Now, as this airport auto theft scheme was underway, McKinnon picked up state charges in Virginia. In Arlington County, he broke a vehicle window and stole a gun, and was charged with grand larceny and destruction of property. Then, he got convicted on state grand larceny charges for vehicle thefts in Fairfax. Those convictions were followed by convictions for the Arlington charges, and this earned him free same-sex accommodations, but only for several months because both of those sentences was suspended. This image was included because some of the items that McKinnon has on in this photo were used during the investigation to confirm it was him because he wore some of the same things. McKinnon completed his Virginia sentences on March 1st, 2024. And according to court documents, at that point, he was subject to at least 3 different court supervision for Prince George's County, Maryland convictions and for Fairfax and Arlington County convictions, according to the prosecutor's sentencing documents. Prosecution also noted that McKinnon had served at least 4 jail sentences by this time for theft-related crimes. His firearm sentence was still pending, and yet the prosecutor described him as returning to the instant conspiracy. Just 12 days after he was released in March 2024, he stole a 5th car in the airport auto theft conspiracy. McKinnon returned back to Reagan National, where he took a 2021 Honda Pilot. Authorities had video showing him getting in the truck and driving it out of the facility. By April 5th, 2024, a couple weeks later, he was under surveillance. Authorities watched this man go to a courthouse in Glen Burnie, Maryland. Court documents say he left the courthouse in what's believed to be a vehicle through a ride-sharing app, and he went to nearby BWI Airport in Maryland. Law enforcement watched him leave BWI with a 2020 Kia Sportage, which was reported stolen that day. 3 days later, law enforcement went to a residence linked to McKinnon in Southeast DC. The Kia Sportage was there, and McKinnon was there, standing close to the vehicle. Later, authorities, still reported observing a person described as a co-conspirator. That individual was not named in the documents, but reported seeing that individual driving the vehicle to another spot in DC with McKinnon following behind in a different vehicle, and law enforcement eventually recovered the truck from that second DC location. And that's when the feds appeared to have seen all the show they needed to see. Now, with regards to McKinnon, in the sentencing documents, the prosecution said that McKinnon reported that he was raised in, quote, safe upper middle class communities. The prosecution said he reported some challenges, including not having a father involved in his upbringing, but he said his mother was able to meet the family's needs. He had a close relationship with his mom and his brother, and prosecution said McKinnon also denies that drugs, mental health issues, or domestic violence were a problem within his home during his upbringing, and he denied that he had any of those issues of his own as an adult. He even described himself as a good kid until high school. He reported that around age 18 or 19, he was shot by a bullet that he described as coming from a random shooting, but he didn't have any ongoing issues. In the sentencing documents, the prosecution said this will be the 6th time in the last 5 years that he has stood before a court for sentencing for theft-related crimes. Prior arrests, convictions, jail sentences, suspended prison terms, and active probation have failed to deter the defendant from stealing cars. A significant penalty is necessary. Ultimately, for conspiring to steal 6 vehicles with an estimated value of $150,000 to $250,000 from airports, McKinnon was sentenced to 3 years and a month in prison.